In this short lesson, we are going to look at permutations and combinations. So let's take a little walk down memory lane to an old math class and remind you of two concepts. Let's illustrate it with these two questions. First of all, it says there are 5 students running for class president and vice president. How many ways can they fill these offices? Okay, so this is a scenario where order definitely matters. If you are president, that's very different than you filling the role of vice president. So if we have 5 students filling this, what we do is we go, okay, so we have 2 positions to fill. We have a president and we have a vice president. And you think, well, how many students do I have to select from for the first choice? And it would be 5. How many for the second position? Well, somebody has already been selected as president, so now there's only 4 students remaining to choose from. By the fundamental counting principle, we multiply these outcomes together to get a total of 20 different ways that 2 students can be selected from the 5 for these offices. The notation for this would be a capital P for permutation. From 5 students, we're selecting 2, and that's equal to 5 times 4, you're filling 2 positions. Now, there is a more complicated formula for calculating this, but it's not necessary for this course, and I think it's more beneficial to understand where it comes from. Let's look at a very similar question with similar numbers, but a different concept. There are 5 students volunteering to serve on a spring fling committee. How many ways can 2 students be selected from the 5 to serve on the committee? So we only need 2 students to serve, but we're not giving them positions like president, vice president, so we just are selecting 2. Okay, so, well, what's that equal to? Well, first of all, this is known as a combination because order doesn't matter. And we're selecting 2 from 5. So we say combination from 5, choose 2. And I want you to know that this is also written like this, with the 5 up top and the 2 like this. And I'm showing you this because in EP Stat, we write it in this format. Okay. This is equivalent to a permutation of the same size, which we just saw how to calculate, over the second number factorial. I'll remind you what factorial means in just a second. So we just saw, well, how do we do permutation from 5, choose 2? Well, we have 2 spots to fill, and we would do 5 for the first position, 4 remaining for the second position. But that, we have repeats that don't matter if order doesn't matter, so this is going to be reduced. What's it reduced by? Well, 2 factorial means 2 times 1. Just to make sure you understand what factorial is, so 4 factorial would be 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So it descends all the way down to 1, multiplying these consecutive integers together. All right, so this would be 20 over 2, which reduces to 10. So there's 10 different ways that 5 students can be selected to serve on a committee. And for kids to sometimes see this, sometimes they like to list it out. So if I had 5 students, this would be student A and B could serve, A and C, A and D, or A and E. Well, we could also have student B and student C together, B and D, or B and E. Whereas we could also have student C and D, or C and E, and then we could have student D and student E paired together. So that's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you can see. So these are all the different combinations, easy to see with a small list. For permutations, you would have A and B and A, because that's like president and vice president, very different government. Okay, now I did all that to show you how this is calculated by hand, but something that's even nicer is your graphing calculator will do all of these formulas for you. You just have to be able to recognize that this is a combination. From 5, we're selecting 2 students, okay? So grab your graphing calculator and you're going to go to math. Combination function is hidden in math. Arrow over to probability, and it's option 3. Option 2 is for permutations, but you won't use that in this course. So you have to enter N. So from 5, we're choosing 2. and you just hit enter and you can see it's 10.